So I want to give a quick disclaimer before I get into the video. But the story that I'm about to share isn't for me to try and get views or for me to try and virtue signal to the world that I'm such a great person. But the reason why I'm sharing this is because I feel like it serves as a powerful example of a message that so many young men today need to hear. So at the start of the year, I was on this cruise ship with my family. And one of the nights, there was this all-white party that was on. And I'm not a very big party person, but I thought, oh, you know what? Like, I'm on this cruise. I might as well just go to this party. It's not that bad, right? So I went and, I thought, like, yeah, I'll just check it out. And while I'm there, I'm trying to get into it, but like, it's just not my thing. Like they had DJs playing this music that I didn't really like. And, like I try to follow along with the dances, but it wasn't really my thing. So anyway, while I'm there, there's this girl my age who comes up to me and starts talking to me. And I was like, oh, okay, well, at least someone my age, I can speak to someone. And so we start chatting for a bit. And eventually she asked me if, we wanted to go to the ping pong tables and play ping pong, right? So I agreed. I thought, oh, well, it's better than just staying here, trying to look like I'm in this party when I'm really not. And so we end up going to the ping pong tables and we're there playing for a bit. We're chatting a bit while we're there. And she starts hyping up this board game that she has. So I was like, oh, okay. Seems like a pretty good board game. And after we finish, she says, oh, do you mind if we go to my room and, get the board game? And, I sort of thought that was a little bit strange, but I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. We'll go play this board game. So we go to her room, and when we get to her door, she sort of puts her key card in and she walks inside and, to stay respectful, I just waited outside. And while she's inside, she asked me to, sort of come in and get the board game out. And at this stage, I'm kind of suspicious, but I hesitated at first, but then I was like, oh, okay, I'll just get this board game. I don't really know why she can't just get it herself and we can walk out, but I was like, okay, I'll just get this board game. But we go in, and while she's in there, she sits on her bed, and as I walk in, the door closes behind me, and on these cruise ships, the doors automatically lock, right? And so she's sitting on her bed, and before I know it, she opens up her drawer, and inside was a packet of condoms. As soon as I saw that, I knew exactly what was going on. So for context, I'm a Christian, right? So one of my values is that I'm waiting for marriage because I want to share that intimacy with the woman that I commit my life to, right? And so here I am in this situation where there's this girl who I just met. Her intentions are obvious, And all of a sudden I feel this primal urge. My nervous system's lit up. I'm in this situation where I could so easily compromise. My brain starts telling me, oh, like, bro, you could just do it. No one's around and no one would find out, bro. Like, she's literally opened the door for you. It's so easy. Just do it, right? Like, I don't know where this came from, but something in my spirit just said, bro, you got to get out of here. Like, no, right? And I don't know where this came from, but I just commanded my legs to walk out that room. Like, if I entertained the thought any longer, I would have just done it, right? But I just commanded my legs and just walked out of the room, and I was like, you can pick the board game. I'm stepping outside. And even when I was outside, like, I was just so flustered. I was, like, that's just so unnatural to be in that situation and, just walk away from that. Like, my nervous system was fired up. And it was only until that night when my nervous system finally calmed down and I was able to just think clearly again that I realized how big of a decision that was. I could have compromised on my values and made a decision that I would have probably regret for the rest of my life. And when I decided to stay true to my values in that moment, when it was so difficult, that was the biggest temptation of my entire life. But the fact that I stood true to my values in that moment, I never felt such deep self-respect and this gratitude that I stood firm in my values. And the thing is, so many men, even if they had the same values as me, would have compromised in that situation. And again, I'm not sharing this to say that I'm better than these people, right? Because honestly, like, I've got strong values and I was close to doing it. And what would you do in that situation? Be honest, right? You were in this situation where you could compromise on your values. Like, the point I'm trying to make is that as men, if we don't have clear values that are drawn in the sand, then when a situation like that comes our way, if you don't have those clear values to the point where it's a conviction in your heart, you will compromise when it gets difficult. And when you are in that situation and you do compromise, that is something that, you would regret for the rest of your life, right? Especially on something, so core to who I am and my values. Man, that moment, I always look back and I just think, like, wow, I really could have just compromised there. Right? And maybe you watching this, you have different values, so you don't really understand why it's such a big deal. But I want you to think about, what are your values? And, maybe it may not be a similar thing to, a similar situation to where I was in. But what if there was, a situation where one of your values was put to the test? What are you going to do in that situation when everything in your environment tells you to do it and you shouldn't? What are you going to do in that situation? Because it's only until you are clear in your mind what your values are that you are able to stand firm when it's easy to compromise. And the reason why this message is so relevant to the world today is because so many men lack this conviction that I'm talking about. So many men don't even know what their core values are. And so they get into these situations and they compromise and they feel terrible about it afterwards because they don't stand up for something as a man. As men, we should have values that we hold on so tight. Our knuckles, you get white knuckled just thinking about betraying those values. And I hope you can tell just how passionate I am about this, because this world lacks leaders and lacks men who stand for something. They are so fixated on trying to satisfy their urges that they no longer stand for anything. Right? And like I said, if you don't set these values in stone before you get into a situation where it's so easy to compromise, you will be like them. And you will make decisions that you regret, and you'll feel like you don't stand up for anything as a man. But as men, we need to have these values that we stand up for. That's what masculinity is. Masculinity is about having something that we are willing to fight for. And it's when we defend these values, it's when we stand up for something and we are put to the test and we prove to ourselves that we truly value what we say we value. It is only then that you form this character and this self-respect that runs deep and can apply to all areas of your life. So, to give you some practical guidance in this video, start to get clear on your values today. Because just like in my story, you never know when a situation where your values can be tested, you never know when that day could come, when that situation could come. And so get clear on your values today. Write them down on paper if you have to, but make sure you are crystal clear on your non-negotiables. And even, this doesn't even have to be something as significant as, in this example, as it was for me. Right? This can apply to even smaller decisions. Let's just say that you are going out and let's just say you start work early in the morning. So you go out and you tell yourself, oh, I want to make sure that I am not out any later than 10 because I want to wake up early tomorrow. If you don't set that intention early, before the time that you're out, you are way more likely to compromise on that boundary that you set for yourself. Just because now you're in the environment, you're having fun, you see it's like 9:50 and you think, oh, I should get going. But you keep staying because you think, oh, it's all right, man. It's not that bad. I'll just wake up and put up with it. But every single time that you do, you feel sleep deprived, you feel grumpy, you have a bad day at work. And so this principle can apply to any area of life, even the small decisions. You have to have something that you value and that you stand on. Because if you don't set these boundaries as a man, then people are always going to see how far they can get before you say, no, I'm not compromising on that. And when you have values that you stand on, people will respect you so much more and take your boundaries so much more seriously. And that is so important as masculine men, to have these boundaries that we enforce and having something that we stand firm in. So this lesson applies deeply across all areas of your life, because not only will you avoid making decisions that you later regret, but you also become a man who other people just naturally respect, because you know what you want and you have the strength to stand up for it. And so many men today lack this backbone to stand up for anything that they are passionate about and that they truly care about. But I hope that by you watching this video, you can take this away and you take action, you get clear on the values that you have, so that next time you do get into a situation where you can compromise and it is difficult, you can stay true to yourself and you can make the right decision. Right, so I encourage you to be the man who stands firm in a world of compromise. There are going to be so many opportunities where your values are tested, but you can only see how much you truly value them when you are in a situation where you could compromise. Right, so you need to have this identity level conviction that you are a man who doesn't compromise on his values. Right, so I hope this video speaks to some of you. If you like this message, my channel is built around helping young men to become more masculine. And part of that, as you can see, is helping young men to step into their authentic masculine identity, where they have principles and they have internal strength. And so if you like this message, subscribe to my channel, give the video a like, tell me what you think of the video. I always love it when I see comments, and I'm always open to feedback. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.